All right, folks, welcome back to the show. I'm Craig Shelton. This is The Cut. Kim Davis joining us on the show. You folks have seen Kim many times hanging out with us on The Cut. And, hey, good to have you back.
It's always good to be on the cut.
Well, I'll tell you what, The Cut ain't quite The Cut until you show up and add Joe Spice to this cut gumbo. We always talk about the gumbo on The Cut. All right, folks, we're kind of mixing it up, jumping around a little bit. I know we gave you a little bit of the Texans, and we're going to go back to the Texans in the final segment of the show. But I thought it would be a good idea to touch up a little bit around on what's kind of going on. Hey, talking about gumbo, we'll mix it up a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the Rockets. I mean, for all practical purposes, right about now, the Rockets are about a 500 basketball team. Not much more, not much less. And the team has looked good in some areas. I think we're seeing some good things from Jeremy Lin. Matter of fact, we're seeing some really good things from Jeremy Lin. I think we pretty much knew what we were getting with Dwight Howard. Dwight's leading the league in rebounding. He's going to have nights where he'll get you 17 or 20. He's going to have nights where he'll get you 9 or 12. He's always going to defend. It just kind of is what it is. But the thing that bothers me with the team, Kim, and you play ball, defense.
Yeah.
When you've got an elite defender in the middle, it also means that you have, and when that defender is the type, unlike Amir Asik, who's an elite defender, Howard's an elite defender that blocks shots,
Right.
which is a lot more imposing and intimidating to teams. So you have paint protection, and if you are a bad defender on the wing and you have enough ability to shade your man to the left or to the right to get him to go baseline, normally you find good things happening for you there when you've got that fail-safe in the paint. The Rockets are not a good defensive team right now.
They're not a good defensive team. And so one of the reasons I think they wanted to try to see if this Twin Tower, Dwight Howard, Omar Asik experiment could work is because they have struggled defensively. And I think what they are seeing is it cannot work. And so Omar has again said, I want out, because they are just, you have two big guys.
He'll be obliged.
Right. Because here's the deal. He is a good player, but Dwight's just better than you. I mean, he just is. And so you have two guys that can't really play beyond 5-7 feet from the basket. And so it clogs the middle up, and they're just not able to move. It throws off their spacing and their timing, and a lot of stuff's bad. And so, the reason that Jeremy Lin is coming off the bench is because he can't defend anybody, but he's handling coming out the bench very well. So Patrick Beverley's a better defender. You can't afford to have your entire backcourt defenseless because James Harden, they didn't bring him here for his great defense. They brought him here to score points, and he's been doing that. But you're going to have some defense if you're going to be competitive in this league, especially in the West. So they've got to figure that out. And so the 4 position is really kind of like, what are you going to do? And it'll be interesting to see what McHale and the Rockets and Morey, how they figure that piece out, because they just, they struggle defensively.
Yeah, I think we it's pretty much a given. Asik will be moved before the trade deadline. And I think Terrence Jones is your guy. Now, whether or not Terrence Jones is your guy post-trade, because if that trade brings in a quality 4 and maybe some level of a 5 as to fill Asik's role.
This team has been trying for years to get a 4. I mean, last year, would they bring in like 1 in the draft and then 3 in the summer and the rookie camp? I mean, they can't seem to find that guy.
But Terrence Jones seems to be the guy that can actually play basketball.
Yeah.
He seems to be the guy that every time you put him out there, he finds a way to score points. He's active on the offensive boards. He can run the floor.
Yeah.
I think discipline and maturity were an issue with him early on. I think we know that.
We know that. But I mean, I think he's grown. He's definitely grown.
Yeah. Well, what better? I guess at some point you get to the point where you say, what's the best option? Who do I have better?
Right.
Well, that guy's not Donatas Montejunas. Montejunas is, at this point in his career, a stretch 4 who can only help you as a body off the bench to stretch the floor when you go big. He's not going to help you as a defender. He doesn't rebound all that great.
Yeah.
Terrence Jones gets up and down the floor for me, and I'm gonna do something that I didn't want to do. I have to start looking kind of back at my original opinion when Kevin McHale came here.
Right.
I kind of got sucked into the Kevin McHale thing a little bit. He loses his daughter.
Yeah.
The team overachieves. And I do like McHale. I like his philosophy as far as communication-wise with the players. I don't know that I like his decision-making.
Right.
Dare I compare him in some ways to Gary Kubiak? A real likable
Wow.
person. Well, think about it in these terms.
Yeah, I
A
see what you're
real
saying. That's why I
likable
said wow.
personality. But how many times do we find ourselves asking questions about the Rockets that go back to the team's leadership?
Yeah.
The play at the four right now, there's no continuity with it. You're not giving these guys any opportunities to grow with the starting unit
And one
by,
of the
by,
things
by
too,
changing them out like
when
that.
you talk about the Twin Towers and people in Houston who remember back in the day when you had Akeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson, it is not the same because
Totally
Akeem
different.
Olajuwon is not your typical five.
No.
And here's the other thing: having Akeem Olajuwon try to work with Dwight Howard is really, I think, not that productive because Dwight is never going to be able to do what Akeem does. That's why you've had Akeem work with guys like LeBron James because his game is more in line with that. I mean, we take what Akeem Olajuwon did for granted because we saw him so much. He was just something really special, and so that's not what you're going to get from Dwight Howard. Get you a four, move Ashik, and at some point you're going to have to get you somebody to really be strong at the three.
Yeah, and you're right about that because when you go back to the original Twin Tower concept with the Rockets and Akeem and Ralph Sampson, Ralph was 7'4", but Ralph could put the ball on the floor.
And he
He
had
could,
shot.
yeah, he could do some things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree in those terms. Patrick Beverly, since the injury, I don't think he's 100% as far. I mean, health wise, he may be fine, but getting that time in and
He's
getting back
gotten
on your
back yet.
game, yeah,
He hasn't
getting
gotten
getting
back.
back on your game. So I would caution folks right now with this team. First of all, take a deep breath.
Right.
We're not nearly far enough into the season to start, making determinations of what this team is going to be long term. And then the other thing is this. You got to think about team continuity overall. Think about when the Heat got together with the Big Three and how long it took for those
Took 'em a
guys to
minute.
figure it out. And you know what? And when you're talking about basketball egos, first you have to figure it out. Then you have to accept it
Right.
because somebody with elite talent is going to have to understand that they're going to take a backseat role to someone with even more freakish ability. LeBron,
Dwayne
D
Wade.
Wade,
Yeah.
Chris Bosh.
Right.
Well, this team is not even that talented with its best three players.
Right.
And so take a deep breath, folks. Give them some time to work it out. The roster's not complete. Morris still
It's
has
not.
work to do. It'll be next year or the year after before you're in the finals. You're not going to be in the finals this year. You, at best, can go to the Western Conference Championship if you get it together and get hot. An appearance in the second round where you compete and play well, I think is realistic expectation and goal. But don't even be surprised to see this team make it to the playoffs and lose in the first round. It just doesn't have the continuity, and I don't think that this team I'll go back to another Texans reference. Much like the Texans, I think this team is being hyped as more talented than what they are. Maybe there's potential talent,
Right.
but
And I
that's
think-
not developed talent
I
yet.
think it also you said something really important. They're not through yet, and so they're nowhere close to the trade deadline. Let's see what this
See
roster
what that
looks
third
like.
guy is going.
Let's see
that guy
who's
would
he
be.
going to be.
Maybe Millsap, a guy that doesn't have to have the ball every night,
Right. That might be. That
but
could be
can
that-
do
that-
you for 30. every
That
night.
could be the kind of fit that would help and move this whole agenda forward. So we'll see.
Yeah, I hate to see people, just get out besides themselves with the Rockets. And I know,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it was a lot of, just face it, a lot of excitement with Dwight Howard coming, just a feeling of euphoria. I was excited about it, and I was one of those people I was okay with the Rockets going either direction to build in the future. If they got Howard, fine. If they didn't, after what I saw from Isaac in the playoffs last year, I was like, you don't have to have an elite center to win NBA titles. Tell me the last team with an elite center that won a title. But you have him. You got Harden. That's your nucleus. You build around that. You got a great guy like a Chandler Parsons who will do your dirty work. He's not going to bark about getting the ball and things like that. So I just think that folks need to calm down a little bit about the Rockets. All right, that was your Rocket talk. We gave it to you. Folks, I want you to hang in there. We got a lot more for you on the show. We're going to give you more on the Texans. We're going to get more stuff in on that. We've got more Texans locker room stuff for you. So just hang in there. Be patient. It is the cut.
From the game plan to adapt to some of their protection, some issues we had, and I knew he could get all that done, and I thought it would be very difficult for me to put Case in that situation. That's why I did it.
Can you talk about your health and also coaching from the press box?
Yeah. I'm fine, John. Yeah, I'm fine.
What
I didn't like being up there, but if that's what they want me to do, that's what I'll do.
How is it different?
Well, you don't feel motion up there and stuff, and one of the things, me visually looking down, we look tired, as a football team. I'm moving around, and that concerns me because we've done everything we can to try to freshen our guys up, so it may be more mental than it is physical, but I know it's a tough time, but I got to find a way to get them upbeat and moving quicker.
Two guys real quick. DeAndre Hopkins on offense looked like you went a couple series without him in the 3-wide set, and Brandon Harris when he went.
Bottom line, DeAndre made a lot of mistakes early in the game, so we gave another guy a chance to play. That's the bottom line.
Brandon Harris when he went in for McCain, how do you feel like he performed?
Well, we were going to play all those guys. I have to go back and look at the film, but, we suited, I think, we have 8 DBs suited today, 7 linebackers suited today, so everybody was going to play and contribute.
Last one.
Was a lot quieter in coaching group today than it normally is. But did the other guys say that they toned it down because you were in there?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you because I've never been up there with them, so I don't know. Okay.
Matt, Wednesday, Gary talked about how you had a really good week and you wanted him back in the field. When did you know that you were going back in this game? Was it right before you went in?
Yeah, it was right before I went in, right after that series right before, he said something. So it was a quick turnaround, I think, right actually when the defense had third down and we were about to get a punt. So I only got a few throws before I got to go back out there. But, it was good to be back in the huddle.
What was up with you and Andre going at it?
Well, it's just emotions of the game, just a culmination of a lot of things. But, that stuff will keep between us. He's a great guy and a great competitor, as am I. And, just the heat of the moment. But, things that's behind us.
Did you talk about the last series or last
Yeah.
plays?
Yeah, I mean, we got down there and we only needed a yard to get a first down and 2 yards for a touchdown. And, we had a few shots at it. And then we had the penalty to back this up. And, we're just trying to take a shot in the end zone to, give them a chance to make a play to win the game. And, they made the play.
Is there a rust that develops with not as many reps in practice with the first team?
Well, not really. I mean, I've had enough reps with all those guys in the past. So, I mean, it's somewhat like riding a bike, obviously not having gotten a lot of reps in practice or, everything like that. But, I mean, the plays are the same. We just dressed things up a little bit. But there wasn't much rust. It was just the first series I hadn't thrown. I only had about 5 or 6 throws before going in there. So just needed a little bit, of oil to, loosen things up.
Matt, you obviously, when you started with Atlanta, you were in the backup role, but have you ever experienced anything like this comparable to your career to where, you get in a game like that, it's that kind of tight situation and everything you've been through before?
There was a time back in college where I think my first year starting back as a sophomore where I rotated with another guy. But, since I've been at this level, I've never really been a part of anything like that.
You've had 2 vantage points to see 2 touchdowns in the second half of 8 games in a row. Used to you guys scored, you started great in the red zone. What's happening with Texas?
We're not making the plays. It's just we've had some penalties. We've had some turnovers along the way. We're hurting ourselves. We have plays to be made, whether it's a run or pass, and we're just not finding that extra yard, that extra inch to get that first down or get in the end zone, and we need to find that. We need to go and get it.
How would you describe what's happening these last 8 games?
It's surreal. It's hard to imagine that we've gotten to this point. With how hard guys work, the veterans that we have in this locker room, the young players that we've added. It's just the amount of talent that we have that to see things slip away from us the way they have. And we're a big reason for that, and we need to buckle things down as a football team.
Do you want to finish out the season as this team starting quarterback?
Oh, absolutely. I'm here. That's why I'm here, and it means a great deal to me.
Matt, what's your expectation for next week? Do you feel you playing well enough to win?
Well, there's a lot to review. I mean, obviously I want to be in there, but, we're still fresh off this one. We need to go and digest it and, move on, and, we'll decide, whatever coach decides, in the next coming days. But I want to be out there.
You disagree with the decision when you made it. Was what happened today an indicator of why you should have been out there from the get-go because Case couldn't handle some of the
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to speculate that. I mean, I didn't sit back and watch the film, look back at it. It's hard to make that judgment right now. But, I just try to prepare as best I can every week to go out there and play. It's what I always do. I just come to work and do the best that I can for this football team, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
You were very visible out there to where, you were kind of pushing guys, patting guys, and trying to get guys going. Was that a case to where you had that opportunity and you wanted the team to just
Yeah, I mean, you just feel you just got to, insert some enthusiasm, some energy, and get guys going. We got down, they had that long play, and they, made an 11-point game. And so, we're trying to make plays go fast. Let's create some tempo and get guys, energized a little bit. And, we were able to do that. Obviously, we got down there, we had to kick a couple field goals. We don't want that situation, but it got us to a point where we're within, where a touchdown wins the game. And, guys fought hard battle, but, we're just trying to, not that it's complacency, but just a lull in the game, energy-wise, and trying to lift it up. And you want guys into things.
You seem to be in a bad place mentally. A lot of stuff was going on off the field, on the field. You weren't yourself a few weeks ago. You feel more like yourself today, like you're back to being the guy you know you can be as a player?
Well, yeah, I kind of feel that way, but it hasn't been the couple months that I don't think any of us, me in particular, would have hoped for. But that's part of this game, especially when expectations are really high, and we have great standards and high expectations for ourselves. So, I feel like myself, and we just got to move forward. We got to find a way to get a win. Bottom line.
Man, with the team witnessing the little disagreement with you and Andre, I don't feel like that. I mean, how do you guys are veteran leaders on the team. How
Yeah.
how you guys gonna fix that?
We'll handle that. That's between us and our team. We'll handle that. It won't be a problem. We've been around each other long enough around here. It's an emotional game, and we've been through things before, but we'll handle it.
Folks, that'll do it for us this week. We appreciate you folks tuning in and hope you enjoyed this week's episode of The Cut. I'm Craig Shelton. We want to say thank you to Kim Davis for helping out on the show tonight. And, hey, for Richard Big Walker, you know what to do. Go out there and find him on Twitter. And always support HoustonMediaWatch.com. Go check out the website. We love to interact with you folks, all right? We'll see you next week right here on The Cut.